Okay, so welcome. How are you?
All good.
We are recording. We are playing with the good old horror hobbit, also known as Blue's Clues, also known as Sean. Welcome,
Correct.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And your character, if you want to introduce him a little bit to those who may be watching, who is he?
He is Grimbald Silentfoot.
Ooh. And he is a Lightfoot halfling rogue.
Correct.
Awesome. Your character is definitely interesting. It's definitely more of an all-arounder. And what would you say? So you have your. I assume we haven't talked too much about your background, which is fine.
Not really, no.
But what would you say your role is in terms of your thieving? Are you a part of the Thieves Guild locally in Calimport, where we had discussed that you'd begin? Are you just sort of like somebody that hires yourself out as sort of a freelancer, that sort of thing?
I think I'd be more of a freelancer.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I kind of assumed you would say. Yeah, so what I imagine is you take up some random jobs here and there. You're not super well known in the thieving community in the sense of you're the most amazing thief in the world. You're a specialist by any means. In fact, you're more of like often you get little jobs like being a courier or something like that. And hey, I have a fella over there that owes money from his bar tab last night. Can you go and just get it from him one way or the other? Whether you persuade him, which is certainly your specialty, or if you do a little sneaky sneak and pick up his pocket or something like that. And yeah, so the way I imagine it today is you are sort of set up in a fanciful bar.
Okay.
And it is very late at night, and you've been getting maybe a few more drinks than you actually have the capacity to pay for. Um, that doesn't necessarily mean you're drunk. It just means you don't necessarily have the funds to actually pay for it. And it is late at night. Oops, there we go. This is the one I want. So the Calimport part of the city that you usually go in, because there's always little jobs to be done for a short fellow like yourself. I should show you that you're actually on a stool right now, so you're very short.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so you're about 3 foot-ish, foot tall type of thing. So you're on a thing, and this guy is kind of just a placeholder for a barkeep kind of thing. And
Okay.
he is getting pretty tired. It's probably like closer to the 2 a.m. mark. And he often enjoys your company. He finds you a fun guy to talk to and everything like that. But he also is one of those guys that has a usual job, and tonight is no different. It's not a guy that needs a bar tab picked up or anything like that, but or rather that he left his tab for too long or anything like that. But he's actually just running low on supplies, and there's a warehouse on the edge of town in the north west side of town. And he was hoping that you would be a good little lad and go grab one more cask. He knows that you're not exactly the strongest little halfling in the world, but it shouldn't be too big of a trouble just to roll it down across the square. If you get any trouble, just tell the guards to send you my way and everything, and hell, get them to lift it for you, sort of thing. And yeah, what do you say?
I say let's do it.
All right. That sounds good. So yeah, you kind of hop off of it. You can tell that it's pretty dead now. Like even the land, it's a very nice establishment that you tend to go to, and this is in the trades ward of Calimport, which is very much sort of like reminiscent of the sheiks and the desert kind of areas of our own world, but certainly more fantasy filled. It's known in two different ways. One as one of the most wealthy port cities in all of Faerun, but it is also known as the major place of selling slaves, which is where a lot of the wealth comes from.
Okay.
You found yourself reasonably comfortable here because there's actually a fairly large halfling population. So it's not you don't really stand out as a sore thumb necessarily here. It's about 90% human, maybe 7-ish%, I think, halfling, and the other surprising majority or minority, I suppose, of the free citizens of Kalimport are half orcs, and so they seem to have a decent reputation here, and they're respected a little bit more than maybe in the other parts of the world. You'd say maybe about 3% of the population is half orc, but that doesn't really account for, because they are slaves and not really considered people; they're considered property here. The hundreds of different of races, or at least dozens of different races that get sold in market. And are servants in this area, so it is a big hodgepodge of different people. But yeah, being so late, it is very quiet out, and so you're kind of, again, you are very short. So this is the perspective of a short little halfling, I guess. So,
Or everyday life with me.
So it's funny thinking about it, because I didn't actually plan it this way, because I didn't do the first person view too often with Adam's character, but he's a barbarian, and so his character is a lot taller. I didn't realize that this program actually adjusted for the height of the miniature that you make for it. So apparently it does.
That's so great.
It is so great. So yeah, so I mean, this is you can imagine actually in this sort of blanker area, there's actually really tall sort of stone walls all around this area. You're in what's known as the trades ward, and you hang out here because it's a very populous place. It's easy for you to kind of get lost in the crowd, being a shorter fellow. So if you want to be sneaky, it's very easy. But there's also lots of travel and stuff through here. So there's lots of opportunity for a little fellow like yourself. You notice that there is a guard on duty. There's a well in the middle of the town. There's quite a large, not necessarily a palace, but one of the more, what would you say, extravagant bathhouses in the area is in this area right here. You can imagine it being actually walled and stuff. This fella is sort of sitting half dozy, sees you, you're a halfling. He doesn't really give a shit for the most part. But yeah, he notices you kind of half dozing, leaning against this big boulder here. Some small houses and such in the area. And we came from the tavern over here. Seems to be like a tent, maybe a shop right here kind of thing. You think that this is the building that you're being asked to go to.
Okay.
So do you want to just kind of head there kind of thing?
Yeah, I'll head right to it.
All right, cool. So as you're kind of coming up here, you suddenly hear some footsteps, some footfalls, very heavily. And as you hear, what I'm going to do, I have you as just a random model. It's nothing really specific. What you see, oops, sorry, I'm turned around here a little bit. You're actually over here. What you see is a wizard. He's actually not purple. He's more greenish. His demeanor. He kind of is running. A wizard or a sorcerer or some sort of magic user is kind of running and hops over this rock. It kind of sees a guard or something like that, who's walking the other way, and skirts to a halt and decides to burst into the building that you think you are supposed to be going to. Just give me 2 seconds to pull up. Give you a good idea of what this guy looks like. Oops. There we go. Quite a handsome fellow. Green eyes. And as you, what do? Do you keep walking to that building, or?
Can I look into the window?
Sure, sounds good. As you start to approach, no worries. As you start to approach, doesn't really help, is it? I'll do this for now. As you approach, you get about here, and you hear the scuffling and the shuffling of many other boots coming from the same area that he just came from. You are technically able to be seen at this point if you were to be seen in this area. Did you want to hide? Did you want to do anything stealthy? Or
Yeah, I was thinking of hiding in those bushes to the left of the cactus.
right over here?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good. If you want to give me a stealth roll with advantage, please. So you can roll it twice.
How do I do this?
All right, perfect. So on your character sheet, in the so you have your stats in the top bar there, and then you have sort of two major columns, three that are sort of, or one that the first one's sort of broken up into three different parts, and the middle column is all your abilities. That's the one you're looking at, and then at the bottom there is the stealth right above survival with a +5 next to it. All you need to do is click that +5 and it'll roll the dice automatically for you.
Cool.
That's probably going to be really slow because in order to actually make it go fast, for some reason you have to turn on hardware acceleration.
Oh, okay. It is slow.
Perfect. If you want to hit it one more time, so what advantage does is it allows you to roll twice instead of just once and pick the highest highest score. Disadvantage is the opposite. You have to roll twice, but then you have to pick the lowest score. So in this case, because you're a tiny little fucker in a bush, you definitely got advantage. And in this case, you rolled a 23, which is very good. So there is no bloody way that even the guard you just passed has heard you, has seen you, or nor is this guy across the way whom you have seen at some point has even realized that you just went poof. So yeah, I will do this right quick. There's these three ruffian-looking fellows. One comes blazing out, and he's rather large, actually. Half-orc. This fellow comes not too far past as well. About average size. Looking human guy, much more cloaked and such. And then another fellow, but this guy is about your size. A halfling of sort of ill repute. They pause for a moment before looking around, trying to figure out where they might have been, and this guy decides to go inside. These two decide to split up. One probably goes this way, and they're going to go kind of search otherwise. So yeah, what do you want to do?
I would like to look in the window right in front of me, pretty much.
All right, so this is a door, just a side door. This is the main door over here. And yeah, you can totally go here. You being something of a shorter fellow, do need to roll a athletics skill right at the top there near I think it's fourth down. Just to see if you kind of can climb up and look above the the windowsill. Yeah, it's just a little bit short. Yeah, no problem. You got a 15, pretty easy. You can just kind of quickly jump up. You're a pretty nimble kind of guy. In general, you're reasonably skilled. Yeah, so the half-orc, which I'll give you a quick show of what he looks like.
Cool.
It's this burly-looking, sort of sailorish kind of look, kind of fellow. He's kind of got this guy surrounded, blocked off his retreat. And in the common tongue, he's like, "All right, matey. Look, all we're supposed to do is get some stupid book from you. Now hand it over." And yeah, the the guy does have sort of a tome in his hand. It's actually a very strange looking one. You can't quite tell from where you are because it is dark and such, but you do have dark vision, so you see the moonlight kind of coming through one of these windows here, and it sort of reflects this sort of ashen metal of some kind. He's clutching it very tightly. And on the cover, you notice it's kind of pointed outwards. There's all these strange sort of gears or some kind of panels or something that's sort of embedded into the book itself with a large padlock that seems to be grasped onto the side. It's very, very cool looking. And I actually have a picture of that. I'll show you after, actually, because you don't really see it that well right now. But yeah, the wizard goes, "Listen, friend. I understand what your job is, but this is one of the most dangerous artifacts I have ever come across. I can't let it fall into the wrong hands, and you are, by definition, the wrong hands. Please, just let me go." And the half-orc kind of, crunches his hands together. He's like, "Sorry, mate. I work for higher authority than you." And he basically punches his hands together and takes another 5-foot step. At which point, this guy conjures a ball of green flame and throws it at him very, very violently. And let's see if it's accurately as well. Give me 2 seconds. It is accurate. Nice. So he throws this green ball of fire right into this guy's chest, and he's actually a pretty hairy-looking half-orc kind of guy, and it burns a good bunch of his chest hair and scalds him, and he kind of roars in pain for a second, shakes it off, but isn't deterred by any means, and charges him. He does have no weapons. He's just sort of looks like he's a brawler, but clearly as soon as he starts attacking, he is very skilled at doing this with his bare hands. He doesn't need weapons, it seems. So give me 2 seconds. God, okay, well, that was cool. Holy shit. Okay, well. Let's see here. That would be... Yeah, so he grasps the guy right away and feeds him 2 massive shots into the face. The book kind of goes skittering and flying, maybe around where this rope is. The guy's basically like, he's clearly a wizard, and therefore not particularly physically capable, and he's already like basically lolling, being held up by this massive half-orc's left arm kind of thing. And what do you do? So it's definitely your turn.
I'm gonna sneak in the side door.
Right.
If
Okay.
I can.
Yep. Okay. So you definitely get inside. It's open. It's not unlocked or anything like that.
Okay.
Or it's not locked, rather.
I'll head towards the book.
All right, sounds good. So you have one. So to let you know, I'll show you your character sheet. In the top bar, right before your hit points is a walking speed, is 25.
Okay.
And so every block is considered 5 feet of movement. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Yeah, look right here. So we'll say that's 5 movement before you can either choose to do another full movement, which will end your turn, which you should be able to get to the book essentially. Or you can do a different move, like an attack action or something like that. But if you want to go, you should be able to get there in full. If you want to do that.
I would like to try and get to the
2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect.
Oh, they are fighting.
All right. So this guy, so it's back at the top. This guy is barely conscious. Like he's I mean, he might as well be unconscious. He's kind of like, and the guy feeds him a couple more shots. These are less intended for like, I'm going to kill you type of thing, but he's obviously pissed off, and he starts feeding him in the gut. He's like, stupid wizard, fire on me, will you? And so he gives him 2 more shots. The guy is like spitting up blood at this point. It looks like he's not just bleeding from the face, from these massive hams that have been pounding in his face, but it sounded like a rib just broke from that last hit that he just did, and he's unable to do anything at this point. So yeah, I'll just show you what you see for now as you pick. I assume you pick it up.
Sure.
All right. This is the item that you currently see.
Ooh.
A very dark ashen tome with this reddish pinkish hue that it has a large sort of dial on it, and it's actually, as you pick it up, you notice that it kind of moves in different shapes and different portions of it, almost like a possibly sort of a locked puzzle lock of some kind. Like you have to actually have to twist it, or similar to a like a, what do you call those? The spinny locks type of thing, except there's 3 parts to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you have this thing.
Okay. I think
it is your turn now.
An arrow at the brawler.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. So what you have on your far right panel underneath your walking speed and hit points and everything like that is your actions. And so it looks like you have a short bow. Is that correct for your weapon?
Correct.
Awesome. So yeah, you can hit that +3 under the hit DC of this short bow, and that will allow you to attack. Because you are getting your sneaking essentially, and he doesn't see you. You get a surprise round, which means that you have advantage to hit him.
Oh,
what's music? Oh, it's very,
some
very
ominous
dangerous. Oh, yes. Let me see. Okay, so you didn't roll particularly well that time. If you want to roll one more time, though.
Okay.
Because you have the advantage.
Not very well at all.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. Let me just go ahead and roll one thing here. Yeah. So you take your time. You're kind of distracted by the fact that there's a bunch of blood and this guy's coughing up, and it's fairly intimidating to look up to like a 6.5 foot, almost 7 foot tall half orc, which is literally almost 3 times your size. And you kind of pull back, and at the last second, the guy coughs, and it just distracts you, and the arrow goes wide just over the guy's shoulder, and misses. The ironic thing about this is that it doesn't actually, because it's dark and he doesn't really know what's going on. He just hears this arrow whip by him, and he, is startled more than anything. Looks at the arrow for a second, looks at the wizard, is like, "Did you do that?" It's like, "Come on, was that your magic?" And then it takes him a couple of seconds to realize that there might be somebody behind him. He kind of looks over his shoulder, but doesn't actually see you quite yet. You're kind of still sneaky and hidden and everything like that. So he kind of like drops the wizard and kind of is trying to find you, but he didn't roll very high, so he doesn't really know exactly where the arrow came from. So I'll let you have another turn if you want.
I will shoot another arrow.
All
This
right.
time at the window behind him.
Okay. Let me see. So this one right here?
No, the one on the other side to the right.
On this side? Okay, perfect. All right. Sounds good. Everybody says... Nice. Yeah, you're on point this time. Let's see here. Yeah, so, he jumps at the sound of the glass, kind of turns for a second, but then, just because he rolled reasonably enough, realized where the arrow came from, is like, "Oi! What are you doing, you little tyke?" And unfortunately, your ploy to distract him is not particularly successful.
Dang it.
It's like, Hugo, bloody hell, I thought you were, what's his name? Come on, hold up, give me a second. His name is, I thought you were, Farid, little shit. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be, like, advancing on you. He doesn't really look at you as particularly threatening right now.
I think I'll try to escape through the window.
All right, sounds good. So go ahead and let me see here before I tell you what to do. Yeah, so you'll have to do a athletics check for me to see if you can't get up to the window and sneak through. Sorry, I should ask, which window are you going to go for?
The one behind me.
Right here? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, that was your acrobatics. I mean, it's the same in terms of your roll anyway. Athletics was just above deception, but I'll just take the 19 anyway. No problem. Not a big deal. Yeah, you get a 20. You're bloody quick on your feet, even with the book kind of tucked under you, which is fairly large to you. It's like, chest size for you. You kind of hop up, no problem. Leap up onto the thing, kind of kick backwards and hop out the window, and he realizes that you have the book. He's like, no, get back here, you little and then by the time he says some sort of expletive, you're already out the window. No problem. So yeah, you have 25, 5 more squares that you can move. Where did you want to go?
Guess I'll head down the alley in the
This
back if I
Or
can.
in this back? Sure, yep. So this is, just imagine there's a wall this whole length over here. So
Yeah.
it's about 20
Go
feet
to
high,
my
I think.
Left, I guess.
Your left, this over here?
Yeah.
So that's 3. So yeah, you're here. So give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right about there?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, so you definitely hear him huffle across, and you hear him trying to struggle through a window and everything like that. But he doesn't seem to be within sight quite yet, from what you can tell. Where would you like to go?
I'll keep going down that alley. All the way
Okay.
down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so you're around this corner. You see the wall over here. This is probably where one of the gates to another part of the trades ward is. So you can kind of make it over there if you want to. There's a few guards. If you wanted to do something else, no problem. As you kind of get here, he obviously is out of the window, not as nimble and agile as you, but he does see you kind of way the fuck down at the other end. He's like, "Stop, you little thief!"
I'll run towards the bar that I started at.
Sure, sounds good. He was definitely running, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he gets about there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So you're out of the square. You do notice that this guy is fast asleep by now. He doesn't really notice you or anything like that. Okay. And since you're quite nimble and stuff like that, you don't make too much noise. No more than a child, flip-flopping around. He comes around, slides out, takes a second, running a bit too fast for his own good. Kind of looks, sees you kind of over there, is like, "Stop!" Which actually kind of awakens this fella. What? He gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By the time you get to move, he's sort of like still groggy, trying to figure out what's going on. But he hears "thief," and instantly he kind of is ready to go. But he's still kind of getting grogged up, so it is your turn to move.
I'm gonna still head towards the bar.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So even though this guy is kind of interested, and he is like, "You there, halt!" And then he sees the half-orc kind of chasing you. He's like, wait, stop right there. And he actually stops, thinks twice about chasing you, and notices that his friends, who are actually over here now, have kind of heard the commotion and have come across this corner, and decides, instead of to pursue you, points to you and then takes off going this way. This guy decides you're not too much of a threat, but if he's running, this half-orc looks very suspicious and everything like that, and starts following him. So you have 2 new pursuers looking to try and stop you, but I'll let you go first. Before we do that, I'll just quickly show you whom is in pursuit of you.
Oh, okay.
So you have a cloak and dagger kind of guy with a crossbow, and a fellow halfling who is a little bit more rough and tumble than you are. He is wiry, looks very strong, and actually has one of his fists, his left fist actually, looks like he's left-handed, has a kind of a clawed handle that he has kind of strapped to his arm that he apparently uses as a weapon. His scowl is extremely harsh, and he starts gunning it for you. This fella, however, I'll let you move first. You still going to go to the tavern?
Yeah, still into the tavern.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get through the doors, and this guy had a little bit of extra speed on you, not too much. And just as you get through the door, a crossbow bolt flies and sticks itself right in the door, just where you were not less than a second ago. And this guy starts pursuing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. All right. It's all you, man.
Am I able to talk to the tavern owner?
You can shout from there if you want to, or you can move further in.
Yeah, I'll move further in and see if I can talk to him.
Okay, sure. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can talk to him by, yelling here essentially, or calling out to him. It doesn't have to be too loud, but he basically goes, "Oh, what's going on?"
I yell at him to see if I can find a place to hide.
All right. Yeah. So he likes you well enough. Like I said, just go ahead and roll me a persuasion check anyway. Now that's I think fifth from the bottom on your character sheet.
Got it.
Yeah, no problem. So you rolled an 18 altogether. That with the fact that you were he already liked you to begin with. It was very easy to convince him. He's like, yeah, no problem. So he'll kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say, quick, hide in the back in one of the rooms. And so yeah, you can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that'll end your guys' turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He will be here, and he sees that you're kind of coming around that your buddy here, we'll call him, what's his name? Khalid. His name's Khalid. So he's kind of a more Arab-ish, kind of guy, actually. He sees that Khalid's kind of coming around the bar, and it looks like he thinks for a second to say, stop that thief, but instead he just doesn't give a shit and keeps on running in, chasing after you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and this guy will come in. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay. All right. So it's your turn.
I'll keep running in.
1, 2. Because you're small, you can actually move through anybody who's larger than you.
Okay.
So if he's a medium creature, you're small, you can actually move through those squares without any penalty to your movement. So that's what I say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 3 more spots. Do you want to go left or right, or
I'll go.
I guess left. Yeah, that's kind of a dead end. 1, 2. You can either duck into this first room or keep going down the hall.
I duck into the first room.
Okay, perfect. I'll even let you kind of open and close the door. Did you want to do so quietly, or are you doing it loud? What would that look like to you?
Quietly.
All right, sounds good. So he goes 1, 2, 3, kind of stops there, and you hear him, "Oh, wait a minute, this is my establishment." And yeah. Okay. So you don't get to hear anything. You kind of hear a scuffle and what are you doing? But you don't really see what goes on. What do you do on your turn when you're in this room?
I'm gonna try and hide by that bed at the very end of the wall. Yeah.
Right here? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No problem. You can get kind of behind there. And go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Okay.
I won't give you advantage on this one, though, because you're being actively pursued.
Yes.
Holy shit. Okay, you got a 22. You are a sneaky son of a bitch. So I'll say that not only do you have the ability to sort of hide in that corner, but they didn't necessarily hear you even get in here. So I'll apply that to your stealth roll as well. So, you kind of hear footsteps outside the door, but they kind of pass you. And then about perhaps half a minute later, not even, we'd say about 12, 13. Actually, you have enough time to do one more thing if you want to whilst you're in this room. It's up to you.
I'll just stay hidden.
Okay. So after that second, you hear footsteps outside this door, and it is opened. And from your vantage point, you see the clad sneaky man. Oh, I just realized I still had those images up. I apologize.
That's okay.
Annoying that it's not. There we go. Yeah, and so he starts coming into the room.
I'll just stay hidden as well.
And he sort of stands at first just right here, kind of looking around, peering. Give me a second here. Yeah, so he takes his time. You could tell that this guy's a pretty sharp dude, and he's really kind of like looking around, comes on in. Sorry. Froze for a second here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, kind of glows around and tosses a few beds, kind of looks up on the bunk over here, and on the bunk over here. He even checks the corner that you're in, but the way that it's here is there's a kind of a bunch of pillows and blankets kind of shoved back here from like previous use. And he actually thinks that you're in those, but you're like kind of tucked in and just behind the bunk here. And he stabs into the pillows and everything like that. Clearly there's nothing in there. And, you know, after doing so, quickly runs out. Leaves the door open, but yeah, he seems to disappear for the moment. What would you like to do?
I'll stay hidden again for another little bit.
Okay.
To hear them, see what they do.
You hear kind of the same type of commotion over here. The next door opens. Somebody's actually apparently in there, and there's an argument, and then a scuffle for a moment. And he's like, "Where is he? Is he in here?" And you know, the guy's like, "Just stop! Just don't hurt me! Just don't hurt me!" kind of thing. And you hear a pitter patter coming back. As the first sort of halfling fella says, "Did you find him?" He's like, "No, you?" He's like, "I've checked upstairs, nothing so far. He might have gotten out one of the windows though. We should split up." It's like, "Fine." And yeah, so he kind of pitter patters past you. This guy stands out and he doesn't. You're not quite sure where he is quite yet. So, would you like to do anything?
Can I stash the book where I am?
Sure. Yep, that sounds like a plan. Where would you like to stash it?
Right under the bed.
Under this bed? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yep, okay, no worries.
And then I'll just wait there. See what
Sure.
happens.
He kind of goes here, kind of briefly looks into your room again. Curses under his breath, trying to figure out where you might have been, and yeah, seems to leave at some point.
Okay.
Back the way you came.
I'll come out and talk to Khalid.
That's good. Unfortunately, Khalid is lying pretty much where you left him off, just outside of his bar, and is clearly slashed across the throat and dead.
Okay. I'll head out towards the, I guess, was it the well outside?
Sure, sounds good. So somewhere in this area?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you doing so out in the open, or are you trying to stay hidden and everything like that?
I'll stay hidden.
Okay, so we'll take your time. Go ahead and give me another stealth check, please. Man, you're getting great rolls. 20. All right. Yeah, you are pretty much invisible to anybody in the area right now. And yeah, you kind of make it over to about here. Sorry.
Okay.
Without being seen. You don't see anybody currently in the square. The guard over here is missing. he's actually not even there. Now there's this guy. Yeah, where would you like to go?
I'm gonna head back to the building with the wizard.
Okay. Did you want to just go straight across? Did you want to kind of take a roundabout way into the shadows?
I'll just go right across where like that bush is in front of me.
Right here? Okay, sure. I assume you're kind of like, going from cover to cover as best you can.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so you can make it to the building. Nobody seems to see you or anything like that. Did you want to go inside?
I do want to go inside.
All right. So this guy is slumped up against the wall. He's kind of holding his chest. Oops, sorry. Holding his chest. But, yeah.
I would like to go and speak to him, see if he's still alive.
Sure. He seems unconscious for the moment, or at least seems unconscious. You say anything? Do you do anything?
Do I have anything like a potion that I can give him or anything like that? Or medicine?
A little bit rich for your blood right now, I'm afraid.
I guess I'll just like try and like yell at him to wake up.
Sure. Yeah, so his he kind of comes to. Here, I'll even. Clearly, he's his jaw looks like it's broken, so he's kind of wincing in pain as he wakes up, and he coughs up blood for a second, and winces in pain even more. But yeah, let's see. He goes. Are you here to kill me?
I'm not here to kill you.
But the tome, the Ashen Tome, where is it?
It's hidden.
Good. He sort of takes a minute to breathe and just collect himself. You can't let them find it. It's too dangerous.
I can bring him to it.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can move. I think I'm dying. I can't breathe. And he sort of looks like he's sort of gurgling, sort of starts choking on the blood that's in his mouth. Whatever you do, just don't turn the last panel. I found out that there's something wrong with the book. It's defenses of some kind. Just leave the book alone. Bury it. Destroy it if you. And he passes in front of you.
I guess I will rummage through his pockets to see if he has like any letters.
Good question. He does, in fact, have a letter in particular. He has a spell book of some kind. It's written in a script that you can't really read, but most mages' books tend to be. Yeah. He has a letter that was written, and it seems that the courier service that had delivered it some weeks ago what is from Candlekeep, and it's addressed to Asher of Candlekeep from your dear or beloved sister, Jax. And it, you don't know the exact wording of it. I just realized that Shanna's in here. I wonder if she's.
I'm listening.
Anyway,
I'm listening. Hi.
Yeah. So,
Do you not
yeah.
want me here? Should I go?
No. I just wondered if you'd see this later or not. That's all. So
No,
it's
I'm
nice to
seeing
hear.
it now. By
good,
the way,
it's good.
Whoever this character on the screen is hot. So.
Yeah, he's a hot guy. He's your brother.
Yeah,
Oh shit, my brother's hot. Damn.
He is a hot guy. I started fucking around. I fucked around with AI for a bit and got this guy's like, he's a pretty good looking guy, and he matches the description that I had in mind. Not nearly as good looking as not as bad looking as I had thought. But yeah.
Like
anyway,
nope, that's my brother for sure. Yep.
It's good. It's good. So basically, Jax sort of is relating to a letter that he had already sent, that he was going looking for the Ashen Tome here in Calimport, and she's sort of relating that she's pretty sure that he's on the wrong trail, and that her research basically indicates that the tome, or at least what it's talking about or what it's about, has something to do with interdimensional travel to other planes of existence, and that she thinks she knows where one of these entrances to the planes and possibly where the tome is located, which is far, far north of Candlekeep, or far north of Calimport, and north of Candlekeep, in the misty woods south of Daggerford, and that she has decided to take the ancient script that he had sent to her for safekeeping, rather than keeping it safe in Candlekeep. For whatever reason, she has decided to take it with her to the misty woods and find the tome on her own, thinking, of course, that he is safe. You actually find another half-finished script that's been scratched out about a dozen times, some of them with languages that you don't speak, which you kind of suspect based on the quickness of the writing. It involves swear words in Draconic, possibly Abyssal, possibly Infernal. Kind of pissed off, clearly, that his sister is off on her adventure. But yeah, other than that, you find a gold pouch of gold, about 10 gold pieces. So you can add that to your inventory. If you go to your character sheet there,
Okay.
and scroll all the way, or actually it's right at the top, sorry. You have 15 gold there. Do you see that? It's in the same screen as your attack area, and then the first tab is actions, and then the second is inventory.
Attack, inventory.
Actions, and then inventory.
Yep.
Yep. And then right at the top of that window, there's a 15 gold that you haven't spent yet. You can add another 10 to it now.
Oh, okay.
So you have 25 gold pieces. Excuse me. Assuming you're taking it, I mean, I just assumed he's not going to be using it, right?
No, he's dead. I can use it now.
And it looks like he also has some kind of signet ring, probably like a house ring, that's on his finger. It looks like it's has an A, like a kind of italic sort of A, large capital A on it.
I guess I'll take it too.
Okay, sounds good. He has like the kind of some usual like adventuring gear, an extra pair of clothes. He has a staff that is broken, basically. Seems like it broke before. He even it's like half a staff essentially that he had with him, and but yeah, nothing really of any note in terms of gear beyond what I just said. So.
I think I'll head back out and hopefully see maybe a guard of some sort.
Sure. I'll just say that you're certainly welcome to go looking for one. I'll just switch screens here for a second. Yeah, so there's actually like a good half dozen guards now in the area that you're certainly capable of walking up to them. They're starting to go door to door trying to figure out what's going on. They've already it looks like there's actually kind of a congregation in the near where you came from with the inn there, because they've already kind of discovered the body of Saeed, and yeah. So it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
I want to report the murder.
Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, so, you can certainly go up to... Do you go up to, like, the group? There's probably 3 guards back at the tavern. There's also probably one sort of going around the square that's away from them. Which one?
Square.
Okay, yep. It isn't the guy that was looking for you earlier or saw you running away. Probably to your luck. And, yeah, he's like... Excuse me, sir. Have you seen anything in the area? There's been there's been a murder at the local tavern.
Yes, I was in the tavern. I saw who did it.
Oh well, that's good news. Come with me. We'll keep you safe in the meantime. And he'll actually roll with you. Kind of looking over his shoulder, watching it. And he'll go over to the other 3 guards and kind of explain the situation that you're kind of coming forward as a witness. So for basically the next 24 hours, you're kind of kept in sort of protective custody. These are guards that are loyal to the Church of Tyr, which is known as for its justice and everything like that. It's one of the factions in the city that tries to keep law and order. It's not always the case and everything like that. They don't really allow you to go back into the tavern. They're making sure that it's kept lock and key. What do you tell these guys about your story?
I just tell them about the guys I saw.
Okay.
What they look like.
Okay. Yeah. So you give a reasonably decent description of the 3 men, the half-orc that you failed to stab with your arrows,
yes.
And who was running off. They can confirm his description quite easily, and same thing with the halfling. The description you give of the human that was kind of shooting his crossbow at you, it's a little vague. He was clearly a bit more adept at hiding his identity and everything like that. So you're not quite sure what you could give him other than the clothing he was wearing and the weapon he was using, and maybe the voice, essentially. But other than that, the description for you is actually quite hard to recall. Give me 2 seconds here. We are no longer in a too tense situations. So. It is now daytime. Little better. Maybe not as loud as that. That's pretty loud. Here we go.
It's not bad.
Basically you're exhausted at this point. You've been up for hours. They've been kind of keeping you safe and everything, and maybe you doze off here and there, no problem. But they kind of take you to one of the churches of Tyr in a different ward, probably we would say the Emerald ward, which is next door, trying to keep you safe and keeping you as a witness as they go searching for these men that you've described. They kind of advise you to stay put. If you need anything, they'll provide food for you and protection. You kind of put in charge. The person who's put in charge of you is actually a priest or a cleric, actually, of one of the local churches of Tyr. He's definitely willing to listen to your story if you want to tell him. He's a very kindly fellow with reddish hair. You realize that he is probably descended. They're not super uncommon here, but are held with great esteem. They are known as fire genasi or genasi, and they have the blood of the Ifrit, the fire genies of this area of the world, and they're held in fairly high regard. So he seems to garner a lot of respect, having that kind of bloodline in a place that has quite a bit of a caste system of, slaves and nobles and such. So, yeah.
I inform him about the book that I found and inquire
Okay.
any information about said book.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. So he kind of like raises an eyebrow a little bit at the mention of that. He's like, how did you come by this book, out of curiosity?
I explained to him about the Asher and that I had talked to him about it before he died.
Gotcha. Oh, sorry, to clarify, you had told them about Asher being killed as well as the tavern keeper?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. I didn't know if I wanted to clarify about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sounds good. So he kind of nods and understands and is like, do you have this book with you currently?
I do not have it with me.
I see. It might be a good idea to hand over what possessions that this man might have had with him. It would be the just way to do things. As for this tome, this ashen tome, how much of what Asher told you do you tell this guy?
I'd say everything.
Okay. He's like, well, he's kind of disturbed that you hadn't kind of told the guards about it earlier, but he kind of, puts it off out of his mind. And he says, well, clearly it sounds like a dangerous artifact if he was willing to die over such a thing with such a warning. It might be a good idea if you were to get this tome in safer hands. I would be certainly willing to hold on to it for the protection of yourself and for everybody involved.
I actually let him know where the book is.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, as he is leaving, he's like, "I'll be back. I'll bring it here." As he is leaving, you happen to glance out the window, and you see sort of a familiar figure in the distance along the street. Go ahead and give me a perception check right quick.
Perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, you can't quite be sure of who the person you're seeing is, but you do notice that somebody starts following the priest that just left you.
Okay.
What would you like to do, if anything?
I'm assuming there's no guards with me at this point.
Yeah, not really. There's some other priests and everything that take care of the chapel that you happen to be hidden in. But yeah, nobody that you would say is, super buff. Powerful.
Yeah, I'll start to follow.
Okay. Do you want to do so in a stealthy or a obvious manner?
Stealthy.
Okay. If you want to go ahead and give me a roll. Yeah, no problem. 18 sounds good to me. Yeah, it's quite busy out. You kind of are walking through the area, and you kind of go back through the gates. You don't really need to hide too much. Nobody really is paying too much attention. But back through the Emerald Emerald Ward's gates to the Trades Ward, and you're kind of going down different streets, following a little bit behind. You are absolutely convinced that this person who just left is being followed by another fellow. You still don't get quite a good line of sight on the guy, so you're not too sure who it might be. But yeah, you end up getting to the tavern that you left, and he let's say he gets stopped by some guards, and he talks to him for a couple of seconds, who are outside the tavern, which is clearly closed, and he is permitted inside. You kind of lost sight of the figure who was following him, but yeah, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna head towards the tavern as well.
Okay, I'll just bring it up. Mm-hmm. All right. Second to grab a couple of guards here. Bring this guy for later. Okay. And where did I leave you? Somewhere over here, I think. Ah, there you go. No, that's you. That's a different guy. Ah, there you are. You're tiny. Okay, so you're over here, kind of out of sight, still sneaky, and you're not seen yet. Where would you like to go?
I'm gonna go to the guards and explain to them about the mysterious figure I saw following the priest.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Give me a persuasion check, please.
Okay.
I'm also realizing I didn't do a mic check with you. Can you just give me a test 1, 2, 3 for me?
1, 2, 3.
All right, that's probably better. Yeah, one more time, please.
1, 2, 3.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. For those who will probably complain to me later, who are watching this video, yes, I know his voice was probably extremely low because I didn't check. Like I said I was going to check for this video. I just checked. Hopefully it's better now. Anyway, continue, please.
Sorry, everyone.
No, it's my fault. I told Lunar, who was kind of telling me in Shanna and Adam's videos that the voices were low, and I promised myself to fix it. And I did technically fix it for one way, but not the other, which is actually in OBS itself. Yeah, so your persuasion check, they are instantly in action. They burst open the door, and kind of run inside. What do you do? Do you kind of follow them? Okay. You're about 10 feet behind them, and then eventually 20 feet behind them. What you find is the thief. And give me a second here. Let's put a paladin looking fellow. What you discover is the guards kind of come up here, and you're your sneaky little self there. And you can kind of look in between them. And what you're actually seeing is the paladin, or rather the cleric, handing over this ashen tome to the thief that you saw. You realize is the fellow from the night before.
Ooh.
Dirty fucking dog.
No.
And the guard is the first one to kind of ask, what is going on here? Sorry, I'll get rid of Asher's face here. I forgot that he was up. There you go. They don't really see you yet. You're kind of partially hidden. Do you want to make an official stealth roll, or do you want to just be
stealth roll.
apart? Okay.
I'll just stay.
Sounds good. I'll let you bring up what this guy looks like in the meantime.
Oh, it's that guy. Okay.
Yeah, that guy. You're welcome to tell me what you roll in the future if you want. Sometimes I keep forgetting that I have to check. 16,
Okay,
yeah, you're hidden in the meantime. No problem. It takes me a second to kind of bring it up for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're hidden in the meantime. These guards are kind of coming in side by side. And it's like, what is going on here? Without warning, this the cleric whom you assumed was a decent fellow lifts his hammer to the sky and calls down a thunder through his hammer, calling to not Tyr, in fact, but to some being that you know not of. He calls to Vecna and strikes down this sort of red lightning, this pinkish red lightning, and this guy gets struck directly. Let's see. I'm gonna do a bit of. Okay. He's a pretty tough-looking fellow, but he still takes a blast of sort of reddish, unholy lightning to the chest, and is surprised. This guy throws a dagger at him, and in the meantime has sort of placed the book down on this bench. Actually, just because I can. I actually have a book. Book. Ooh, here we go. That's a nice one. There we go. Something like that. Pushes that down as he sort of throws it there, grabs a couple of daggers, and tosses them two at a time, or at the same time at this guy. Let's see here. And both strike home, doing significant damage, but both guards charge and start attacking. If you want to just quickly roll the initiative button for me, it's right next to your armor class near the walking speed there. It's sort of a weird looking diamond looking shape or gem looking shape.
Armor. I see armor class.
Yeah, right next to that is +1 initiative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just roll that one for me. And as I
17.
give us a little more action music. So actually before they even do their action, you can go first. You are hidden, so you have a free turn to do whatever you want.
I'll just move in to the right of the guard there.
Okay. You still have a bit more movement if you want to do something.
I'll shoot an arrow at one of the guys.
Okay, which one?
I'll say the guy with the hammer.
Hammer guy? Perfect. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll.
Attack.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So under your short bow, under the actions, tab.
Oh yeah, I forgot I changed it to inventory.
Yeah, I kind of remembered after a second there.
Uh, 22.
Nice. That definitely hits him. Go ahead and roll damage, which is right next to it. The 1d6 plus 1. Excuse me.
A 4.
Nice.
Oh, I guess it's 5.
5, yep. Double check. Yep, 5, perfect. So yeah, you do 5 points of damage. The guy, actually, because technically you are hidden, you also get to roll. If you just scroll down to the bottom of that panel, there's actually your sneak attack damage. So you actually get to roll an extra 1d6 points of damage.
Okay. Only a 1.
No worries. Yeah, the guy's still taken aback. The fact that an arrow comes out of nowhere and gets him in the shoulder. It doesn't go and stick in there. It more like gleans through, and it's sort of under some of his armored plating that he had kind of strapped on as he left. And he kind of looks for a second, sees you, and goes, "Stupid halfling! You should have stuck out of it." But yeah, they've already gone, so these guys get to go. Kind of jump in and take one-on-one together. The guy who is fighting this paladin, or cleric rather, has a flail and kind of winds up, takes a step forward and slams down at it, but it's very clumsy and it ends up actually getting caught on the bed a little bit, bounces off harmlessly. This guy, on the other hand, actually does some damage to the thief, and he has a long sword. Let's see here. Ooh, nice. Gets a good gash down the guy's chest, slicing through some of his armor. He winces and yells in pain, and reacts by pulling out two long sword and a short sword, and does 2 attacks of his own. Both go wide, bouncing off. One bounces off armor, and the other one just goes wide as the guard sort of ducks to just barely. He didn't really even need to duck it. He was sort of wasn't a big deal. Enraged at the fact that he has an arrow annoying him in the shoulder now, he tries to blast with this massive warhammer to the guard in front of him, but fails to do any damage. Alright, you're up.
I will shoot another arrow at the cleric, or paladin.
Cleric, perfect. Go ahead.
At 23.
Nice job. So did you roll a natural 20 then?
It was on the B, I guess.
Yep, natural 20. So that means you did a critical hit, which means you get to roll your attack dice twice.
Okay.
So, yeah, roll it 2 times.
Which one?
The short bow damage, 1d6 plus 1. Technically, it's 1d6 twice, and then
okay.
you add the plus 1. So exactly like that, actually.
Gotcha.
I guess it automatically accounted for your
Yeah, I did.
Critical hit. That's awesome.
A 5.
Not too great, but not the worst. Yeah, so you see that this guy's actually really damaged by that shot regardless, as it sort of takes a good chunk out of his cheek, tearing part of his reddish beard straight out, and causing a splurt of blood to go across the screen. I'm going to get rid of this picture right quick. Okay, it's the guard's turn now. Let's see here. The guard takes his flail, and this time he actually connects, but it only hits his armor, kind of deflecting off the guy's shield as he brings it up. He's slightly distracted, even though he defended himself well enough, and he's like staring fire in his eyes, literally fire in his eyes, staring at you as these sort of red flames sort of leak out of the sides of his eyes. But yeah, both guards don't do any damage. This guy sort of yells to his companion, "We need to get out of here." And the paladin responds in a kind of rage, "No, we need that book!" This guy decides to take a 5 foot... Oops, sorry, not him. Take a 5 foot step over here and slashes twice more. Oh, that's not good. Alright, so we'll do this and this and this. Spurred on by his companion's insistence that they fight harder, the one short blade kind of cuts the guy at the ankle, or at the side of the knee, and he kind of bends down just in time to see this longsword plunge deep into the folds of his armor, and it goes straight into his chest and his lungs from the neck, and it comes out glistening with blood and splurting, and he instantly falls to the floor dead. Alright, and this guy also attacks the remaining guard. Oh my god.
They're both dead.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah. With the sound of death next to him, seeming to not enrage him, but fuel him with even more energy, the hammer becomes alight with this reddish glow, and comes down on the other guard's head, and he explodes, basically caving in the helmet, and blood seeping instantly as the kind of guard becomes rigid, falls to his knees, and then clumps off into the bed, dead. With both guards dead, these gentlemen look at you evilly. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna full on attack them with my short sword.
Alright, sounds good. So you have to go 1, 2, 3 right here, I guess. And go ahead and give me an attack roll. Sorry, which one are you attacking? The guy that's hurt, the cleric guy?
The short sword, yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
A 21.
Oh, you lucky bastard. All right, go ahead and do your short sword. So what I'll say is you are able to use your short sword and your dagger at the same time because they're considered finesse weapons. So if you want to do another attack with your dagger, you can go ahead and do that now as well.
Okay.
So I suspect that'd be sort of your style in melee anyway.
A 16 with the dagger.
Nice. Yeah. So the death of these guards who were definitely trying to hold their own sort of spurs you onto your own heroics, whether you knew you had it in you or not. And you come up, even though you're seemingly outnumbered and overpowered. Draw your short sword and your dagger and plunge them, twinning at the same time into the sides of the cleric, whose eyes widen in shock and cause him to drop not just his shield and also his hammer to the floor as he sort of scurries out of your blades, clearly on the verge of death himself. And I'll put him over here and so he scurries back, clearly dying, trying to hold through his armor his innards that are starting to leak out of his body. All right. So he's basically dead or out of commission. Had I given him a name yet?
I don't think so.
No. This guy goes, "Corbs, no!" And it's like, "You little..." And he kind of yells out an expletive as he kind of starts parrying and swords going wild against you as you kind of try and block him off at the same time. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, you're just a little annoying fucker that can't be hit right now. So the death of his buddy, or the dying buddy that's next to him, is kind of causing his swords to go wide, and he misses both of his attacks. Go ahead.
I will attack him as well with the short sword and dagger.
Sweet.
All right, 18.
And the next one?
16.
You're getting amazing rolls today. Like, it's amazing. Go ahead and roll both damage. You hit both times. Yep.
Okay. Ooh, only a 2.
Okay. And the dagger?
Ooh, I like how they have the different dice.
Yeah. The different sided dice, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. A 4.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so the first, the short sword kind of slices up, and it goes a little high and kind of catches him, cutting his chin almost in two. Not too deeply, but it has a little splurt of blood, and the fact that it got so close to his face causes him to draw back, and for whatever reason, the last dagger, the last attack that you do, your dagger goes straight in between his groin, and literally disembowels him, or relieves him of certain jewels, we'll say. And he drops his weapons, clutching his groin, and is in so much pain that he's basically goes unconscious and is clearly dying. And yeah, from what you can tell, you've won this battle, as hard fought and unlikely as I expected it to be.
Me too.
Holy shit, you did a good job, man. But just as you are thinking that you're won, your blades slick with the blood of your enemies, both of these guys, you realize that the cleric has grasped a hold of this ashen tome and is turning the last dial, seeming to know kind of what he's doing, although maybe not. It looks like he's desperate and fearful. And he says, "Vecna, give me strength." And he clicks, and the tome, rather than the lock seeming to spring, there is on the pad where the lock actually is, a spike suddenly shoots into his hand, and it sort of sucks the last of this guy's blood, seems to radiate into the sort of jewels of the book, and flares it to life. And you see him go rigid, suddenly eyes wide, as the last of his life force seems to get drained. And as it does, the book shoots open, and one of the pages seem to glow with an eerie white mist, and it fills the room, and suddenly you feel yourself become confused and exhausted as you get pulled deeper and deeper into something of a vortex, and become unconscious as the mists seem to engulf you. Yeah. So, give me a second here. All right. You find yourself falling. You seem like you've been falling for a really long time, although not as fast as you would if you just got kicked out a window. It's more like a caress of falling, as if maybe somebody cast like a levitate spell on you or a feather fall or something, and you're falling quite slowly. And all you can see around you is mists and darkness and more mist. And even though it's somewhat illuminated within itself, you just find it confusing. As you're falling deeper and deeper, you hear a voice in your mind that seems to want to crush your entire soul. And the voice essentially says, "What is this strange creature? Pathetic. I should destroy you now. I sense death on your blades. Interesting. Not what I expected. Very well. I'll see what comes of it in the end." And suddenly gravity takes over faster and faster and faster. And your body starts slamming into trees, the branches of trees, as you fall through the mist, and you get knocked hither and thither until you are basically unconscious from the fall through these trees. Clearly in pain, clearly all kind of jacked up. And yeah, that is where we will leave it for today. Wow, that was really impressive. I did not expect you to literally be able to handle that many people or that much. I didn't have that much planned, so a lot of that was improv. But cool, that was a lot of fun.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, awesome.